Alright guys, let's start a fresh new chapter. Concept wise, it is still the continuation of the previous phase. So phase 1 of strategic management, we discussed about the concept of strategic intent, and we are doing a deep rooted analysis of all the factors in stage 2, wherein we are going to broadly classify both these stages as external and internal. Multiple number of factors were there in external to be analyzed, and broadly the external analysis focused on understanding what are the opportunities and threats that are available to, basically opportunities that are available and threats that stop the organization from achieving something. That is what predominantly are there in the external environment, which we then discussed and classified into various ways of understanding in the forms of trying to understand the business environment in the form of macro factors, wherein we spoke about this exactly. So the outer circle there, which are largely external factors, affect us once in a while, but they do have a considerable effect when they affect us. Factors that are there in the inner circle, you can see them, which are also closely external and very influential factors. Those are going to affect the business almost on a daily basis. So we discussed one exclusive topic as latest as in the last class only, that is about customer. What is market? What is customer? Or who is a customer rather? Then what is consumer behavior or customer behavior? What are their buying patterns? We tried to understand that. Then through this chapter, that is the previous one, we also had an understanding of certain standalone or individual concepts which are very important in the likes of products life cycle, to understand that every product goes through 4 stages. Every entity follows what is called a value chain, wherein you have primary activities and support activities. 5 primary activities, 4 support activities, all of which are going to add up to making up a product. Michael Porter's value chain it is called. What will we do by understanding all of those? How do you use the concept of value chain to generate something called as core competencies? Maybe the concept of value chain is important as in terms of understanding an entity, but what core competence you develop is your own choice. So certain interesting things are there what an organization can do by itself, which is what the 3rd chapter is all about. This time we are talking about internal environment. But before we close it out, we also discussed one very important analysis, coming back to this one here. Rivals, substitutes and new entrants are 3 words that you are seeing there, right? Rivals are people, come on, rivals are people who sell the same product as we do, cater to the same set of customers as we do, while substitutes are substitutes of products which are not exactly the same but a similar product but are serving the same need of the customers. So that is exactly why they become our competition. Trying to understand competition is a very important thing. It's called competitive landscape. As latest as in the last class, we discussed 5 steps towards understanding competitive landscape. Also we did try and understand towards the end a small topic but an important one called KSF, the key success factors behind success of every organization in terms of getting competitive advantage. Competitive advantage somehow or the other, if you work hard you can get, that is anybody can get, but what is more desirable is what is called as sustainable competitive advantage. How to hold the competitive advantage. In fact, it is like how to get this competitive advantage in the long run. Now sometimes it so happens that you get competitive advantage but it may not sustain in the long run. This is like some actor coming up making a movie, very good hit, rather super hit, very nice, everybody talking about it, that's all. After that vanished. Same thing happens with cricketers. Come play in the international level, 1 game, 1 series, after that gone, vanish. Why? It is not that they don't have talent, or then of course if you didn't have talent you would not have come till there in the first place. But the fact that you came till there and you didn't hold it up, that is what is called lack of sustainability. So just in the, like in the game of cricket or tennis, why are so many people respected for, is not because, they played the game. Likewise, many people played the game and went. Somebody like Sachin Tendulkar is an icon of cricket for one reason, not that he plays the game great. So many people got him out on 0, no? So many times he got out below 10. Every time he played, he didn't score a century. So it is not that, that is what makes them great. Across 24 years, if somebody's sustainability is there in a game, 24 years in a game is like what? About 3 generations of people. So he played at a time, and then he also played at a time when he's playing alongside people who were not born when he started playing. That exactly is like showing a graph of what sustainability is. So you are getting selected alongside people who are 20, 25, who are in their prime time of playing the game, while you are almost ending your game, which is quite remarkable. So that is how the sustainability towards any concept grows by. Now, before we discuss more about sustainability and competition, we spoke about outer world so much. That is, all these 5 are there in the outside world, that again it turns up to understanding what the demographics are, understanding what the socio-cultural aspects are, understanding what the laws and regulations, legal. Remember, every business would like to operate in a sound legal system, a framework where the legal framework is sound. Apart from this, we also need to consider 2 more words, strength and weaknesses. So right now, we are not actually starting a new stage, we are starting a new chapter, which is again part of which phase? Phase 2 of strategic management, which is still called as strategic analysis. And then, of course, we will now, in place of this external, we'll go and talk about the internal aspects of an organization. Now, when it comes to internal aspects of an organization, this is purely within this circle, whatever is circle in the sense within this particular business. Okay, so nobody will tell you what to analyze or how it gets analyzed, because of a very simple reason. Nobody gets to know what it is. But no sir, yesterday we discussed a topic which talked about competitive landscape, where we spoke about strength and weakness of our competitors. But those, you prepared a list of strength and weakness of your competitors or not? Now that strength and weakness of your competitors that you prepared, is it based on your understanding of the competitor, or is it true about the competitor? It's based on? So what you think as a strength of your competitor and wrote in that list, when the competitors are preparing a SWOT analysis for themselves, is there any rule that they should also write that as their strength? You understood what I am asking? I am asking again, everybody, concentrate. I asked you a very simple point. Just in the previous class, we discussed what is called competitive landscape. Is that right? What did we discuss there? Identify who your competitor is, understand who they are, determine their strength, determine their weakness, and put all that together. Now, did you call them and ask, hello, please send a list of your strengths and weaknesses? No, what is the word used? Determine. So when you are doing a competitive analysis, you are expected to determine whose strength and weaknesses. So when you prepare a list of strength and weakness for your competitors, it is your understanding of the competitor or competitor's reality? It is our understanding of the competitor. So what do you think is the strength of your competitor? Can it so happen that competitor themselves are not considering it as a strength? Is there a possibility or not? So likewise, very important thing is to analyze our own strength and weaknesses. You did this exercise, very good on outsider. Do it on yourself also. That is when you will be able to draw a map which can match later. What are your strengths versus competitors' weaknesses, so that you can use your strengths to lift the story up. Are you clear on this one? Chalo. Anyways, as much as we talk in the air, it will keep on going that, because we can keep on telling what all internal aspects are. But I think we have a chapter on it, very clearly given certain topics, and the word that we have been trying to understand from the first chapter, core competencies. Yeah, that is very important for an organization's first initial survival. Then of course, sustainability in the long run is totally dependent on core competencies. I told you, with a little hard work, you can do well in all the 9 activities of the value chain. Is that right? What is that right? You have to do all those activities, otherwise you won't be there. So you will have to do all those 9 activities pretty well. But at the same time, will there be something in that you will choose to do it much better than others? Those in fact turn out to be what become a stronger value added point. Those have a specific name called core competencies. So it is going to be a fairly simple chapter, right? Everybody please come down to chapter number 3. Please start reading the introduction. This time we are talking about internal environment. So as much as we focused on external environment, there is a need for you to focus even on the internal environment. It is, get the word, equally important. Which one tends to change more often? We don't want anything on us. Throw on outside. External world only. Of course, external changes daily. Does it, does it mean that we are not influenced by that? We are, no? So, what do you say? Both? See, here again, we are not taking one scale and measuring daily which changes how much, what should we react to, or how much should we react. Environment is dynamic, that's all. Whether it is internal or external, the classification is of your head later. Okay, if internal environment is dynamic, of course people change, in the organization. People change, their attitudes change, people leave and go, new people come. So your HR is something that is very valuable to you. Your ideas change, what your strengths are change. When you started your organization, you might be of somebody who has no much of money. But over the 5 years or last 5-7 years, you accumulated some money, which now finance becomes your strength. So, what was not your strength in the past can turn out to be now. Same way, even customer loyalty. Initially, when you launch your product, maybe they didn't have reception as much as it should. But now, it is working out to be like people like your product genuinely. Maybe your latest product turned out to be a hit. So, like that, there are certain things that may not come from day one. And there are certain things that were there with you on day one, which may not continue as well. Both good and bad. So, environment is dynamic, which is why we have 2 chapters. If only there was only one thing that was more important, we would do only that and leave the other, no? And there is no need to open the chapter by saying they both are equally important. You remember Michael Porter's point which he said, forces are in motion. That forces are in motion, whether they are external or internal forces. Forces always are in motion. And they do have a impact. Now, whether you react to those or not is your headache. Right? So, sometimes you consider and ignore it. Sometimes you don't consider it. Sometimes after failing, we will be like finding reasons. What went wrong? Now, what can go wrong should be an approach, not what went wrong. Okay, both are good approaches at least. At least somebody saying what went wrong and trying to correct it next time. Some people are there who don't do that also. Who admit defeat and say, okay, this is not what I am supposed to do. So there is some important aspect called internal analysis or internal environmental study, which is as equally important as what we did in the previous part. What is this? Internal environment. I want all of you to understand that this, comparatively to what you saw in the previous study, is smaller in size. Size in the sense, the study periphery, that is the circle that you are studying. Who will you study here? Will you study bigger things like market, customer, demographics, government, legal frameworks? No. Then tell me what all will you study here? Our employees, individuals, groups, peoples, departments, management. Can we talk about all of that? Come on, I want to have everybody's full attention while you read, because what you are going to do in this full chapter is discussed only in that second point. Come on. Internal environment refers to a sum total of, first and foremost thing, people, which are individuals as well as groups. Stakeholders, I think we don't have to discuss on that word. We all have discussed stakeholders, yes or no? Stakeholders is much a broader word than shareholders. Only are holding shares in the likes of finance. Hello? Yes or no? While stakeholders are, they have some kind of connection with us. Okay. They can be a shareholder. They can be part of that for various reasons. Right? Now, look at what all we discussed in primary activities of value chain. Processes. What are we studying this time? Processes. Input. I want all of you to learn this word. What do you give to the system is called input. Just like a computer system, what we give is called a input. What it throws out is called an output. But what actions take place ranging between once you give the input till it generates the output, that entire exercise is called processing, which basically is measured in the lines of what is called a throughput. So your process starts with input, throughput and output. Throughput here, for this case, you can write the entire processing activity. Physical infrastructure, is it also important? I told you, infrastructure is a very broad word. That is why they are mentioning clearly. Physical infrastructure means what? Land, building. This time they are talking about physical. When Michael Porter discussed the word infrastructure in support activities, did he talk about infrastructure or physical infrastructure? He said infrastructure. I told you that consists of physical infrastructure, financial infrastructure. Hello, do you remember? It's not long back that we did. Few days back we did a topic called Michael Porter's Michael Porter's value chain analysis. In the value chain, while in support activities, did we talk about infrastructure or not? There it was a much broader word. What is infrastructure there? There we have spoken about infrastructural setup. It could be a finance infrastructure, factory infrastructure, any process that helps you to convert input into output. Everything came under the bracket of infrastructure. Here it is not like that. Here clearly they are mentioning physical infrastructure. Underline that word, physical. Tell me, which means what? Physical infrastructure is what? Space, equipment, physical conditions of work. Then administrative apparatus. Now, apparatus here in this case, you should not literally take the meaning of apparatus as a tool or like generally when we do these scientific experiments or what you have in lab, they are generally called apparatus. In medical field, apparatus here means instruments basically. Okay. Administrative apparatus is who reports to whom. You remember the first chapter we had a hierarchy, 3-level hierarchy. Come on, that is a reporting structure. Is it necessary that every organization should follow that only? No. Right? Remember in that topic we talked about 3 types of relationships: vertical and a matrix. Remember matrix? Yes. Yeah. So there is all possibility that things can also be there in multiple ways. What are the ways we will see in detail, but lines of authority and power, responsibility, accountability, organizational culture. You remember culture? Culture is tangible or intangible? Culture is tangible or intangible? Intangible. Very good. What is it? Culture is a mix of? Culture is a mix of what? What all those words you learned in socio-cultural? Come on. Ethnicity, origin, race, age, values, beliefs, so many things put together is what? Culture. Culture is a very broad word. We'll discuss in detail. Intangible aspects of working relationship, our philosophy, values, ethics that shape up the organization's identity. I think I want all of you to silently read that entire paragraph once again. It gives you a complete understanding of what we are doing in terms of what we call an internal environment. As nothing difficult in that, but just I want all of you to go through that piece once again. Is it clear to everybody, guys? Because I don't want anybody to misunderstand what we are doing in this chapter, because the entire chapter is about analyzing these things only. Heading is clear, no? Strategic analysis of what? Internal environment. What does internal environment consist? Tell me only the broad things. People, stakeholders, processes, physical infrastructure, administrative apparatus, and responsibility, accountability, and culture broadly. Right? In other words, now till now they told in English, now in Greek they are telling in other words. What other words? Same thing they'll tell. Tell me, is internal, external environment is common to everybody? You heard me right? External environment is it open to everybody, common or not? Of course, what is there in government is open to everybody. But in internal environment, what is it? Each organization, does it have? Now tell me, each organization has its own external environment also, no? Factors are same. Micro, macro, let it be anything. Factors may be same. But remember the word I told you, perception. From here what I see, I gave you the same example. I have an outlook of the class from here, correct? You don't have the same. From the place where you are sitting, you have an outlook of what you call as class. If we both take a white paper and write describe the class, that is the question. If you write the answer to that, how will you describe? You will still describe everything that is there within the four walls of this place. Parameters will remain the same, but will you have your own picture of what the class is? I will have my own picture of what the class is. So what is environment? What we see is our environment. And that too, internally, who I am, what I do, what I think is all internal to me. Now you see me for some time in the day, I see you for some time in the day. Depending on our interactions, we judge about each, which has no bearing, right? Sometimes, I met somebody, the meeting or encounter didn't go well, I scolded. So from then they have a different impression. Now, two things. Their impression about me was purely based on that incident, which might not obviously be the true fact. Or I scolded them for some reason which is not also their regular thing. So on that day, at that situation, something happened. The reason I am telling you this is nothing but interaction among couple of forces could create a particular viewpoint. So my encounter with somebody on that day, so it turned out to be aggressive, because say for example, I was carrying something in my mind, and suddenly somebody came, they told something for what they are carrying in their mind. A simple discussion turned into a heated argument. Over. So you judge that this person is all hot-headed, aggressive. You have whatever you can attribute to that situation, you will attribute. I will have my own viewpoint about the other person. Now, both might not be like that. In the next 2 hours, when both of them are in different places, they have an altogether different personality. But my second encounter with those set of people, will I carry my previous encounter's experience or not? This is how internal environment is. Because in your mind what goes on, no? It has a much stronger influence. Now imagine if this sort of an influence is their own strategy making. So when you make strategies, will you, again, simple question, don't complicate it. When you make strategies, which one will you weigh more? Your internal environment or the external environment? Safe answer, no, all the time. Both. We'll tell both. Let this fellow go to hell. He'll only decide and tell. I'm asking you, which one will you weigh more? Which one will you weigh? Obviously, you'll have to tell both. Not for my sake, but because you have 2 chapters in your own syllabus. Apart from that, I'm asking, which one will you weigh more? Again, because you are doing that chapter today? External, because you already completed that chapter? There is one third fantastic option. Depends. This is more like telling go to hell. Right? Depends means what? You decide. Which actually is true, no? How will you decide now? I didn't give you a context. I didn't give you any situation. At certain points in time, like say political instability is there. Obviously you have to concentrate more on external factors. You don't know what your future is. Pandemic is going on. If that is the situation, then you have to concentrate more on external. External world is somewhat stable. Relatively stable. Let's use that word. When the external environment is relatively stable, should you bother more about yourself? Because if you make a mistake now, the only way how something can go wrong is only when you make a mistake. So bother more about you. That is exactly why we have one more full chapter on strategic choice, no ma? The question that I asked you now is the root question of the next chapter. If everything has a concrete answer, where is the need for choice? I'll tell you a very simple example. You have a question paper in front of you. Which questions will you choose? The ones you know the best. Sir, we don't know anything. That is a different fantastic story. Then we get a feeling like we know everything. Two things. See, only two people are confident in the exam hall. One who knows everything, one who doesn't know anything. Both are very confident. One is confident that you give me any question paper, I will write. Other one is also confident. You give me any question paper, I will also write. Those people who studied 50%, 60%, 70%, they only have tension. Arey, question should not come from the 30%. They have tension. For the one who knows 100%, very tension. Any question, let it come, I will write. Anyway, any question they will ask, I don't know. So I should also write. This fellow also fully confident. Right? So either of this. Anyway, the point I am trying to explain you there is, it is very situational, guys. You are not supposed to judge something or exclusively determine something by saying that, today this is important, tomorrow something else can be important. So analyze both and keep. When you have a clear understanding of what to do, we will decide which one to give more importance to. Weightage will be circumstantial. If external factors demand more attention, we will give more weight to external factors. No sir, right now all your problems are internal. World is fine, only your organization is not fine. Sometimes can we have organizational problems? Like our employees are not happy with the salaries and wages that you are paying. So they all start, strikes, lockouts, they are catching boards and standing outside. That is not external problem, no, that's your own problem. Others in the environment don't have that. Are you guys following what we're talking about? Anyway, that's what this chapter is filled with, trying to understand what each organization should do. Going on telling stakeholders, sir, who are these? How should we respond? Let's start with that only, simple topic, understanding stakeholders. Come on, I want all of you to just wrap up those 2 points. Internal environments, underline, are very specific to each organization. They are not general, they are specific to each organization. It is based on the structure, business model. It includes everybody. Again, the discussion is back on key stakeholders. So that is why top management, investors, employees, board of directors, everybody. Investors repeated twice, but all of them, they are all part of key stakeholders. Apart from that, the tough part of internal environment is not understanding what internal environment is. The tough part of internal environmental analysis is, there is a saying, okay, you don't know what you don't know. Break that sentence and understand what exactly that means. You don't know what you don't know. Correct, no? I don't know. Sir, what you don't know? I don't know what the... Because something is hidden. I never came across it. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, which is also a saying which is fine. Because when you don't know, you don't give attention to that. So it will not unnecessarily create problem. But I told you. Can we apply that logic on competitors? I don't want to know about my competitors. Let me remain peaceful. I told you 100 times already. It can work on your personal life, but it will definitely not work in competitive business. Why? Because you need to know what your competitors are doing. We spent one full class yesterday on understanding that only. So you cannot end up saying, I don't want to know about what customer wants. Then who are you doing business for? So you are forced to study the external environment. Likewise, that is why we did a full chapter on it so extensively. Same way, internally also, the tougher part is trying to understand these intangible aspects. The problem with intangible aspects is, there is actually no problem, it is a feature of it. What is intangible? Which you can't? The problem is that only, you told the answer right there. You can't see. When you can't see, you don't recognize that something like that exists. When you don't recognize something like that exists, money, visible? Very much visible. You can look at the bank account, or you can look at the cash box. No, nobody is using much of cash, so you can look at your bank account. It will show you some numbers. Based on that you can understand, are you financially sound or not? Visible. Ethics, values, principles, where are these visible? These are all psychological. Tell me, can the attitude of an organization change with change in all this? Biggest example is Twitter in the recent times. Now its name also is not Twitter, right? All through life there was one sentence which we started in mathematics. Let us assume X, like that. Everything runs on assumption, no? Right? X, very nice. They can name their children like that. Why not company? Anyway, let's not get there. That is their personal choice. Now anyway, the fact that they are trying to understand is a change in CEO. Did it change the entire working of that organization or not? So many people are now more motivated to work in that environment, while half of the earlier work group left that entity and went. Okay, some of them were sent. That's a different story. Whatever it is, sent or left. What did the new CEO do? He changed the internal environment to suit himself. Those people who can't work like what I told, thank you, bye bye, simple. That's how organizations operate. Some people are going out and speaking out in favor or positivity, saying that now this is the correct work environment. Earlier our CEO was lazy. Now you see how that fellow should feel. He established that entity as a startup, put all the hard work, put it as one of the best platforms on social media, and then all those people who worked with him for so many years are now saying that he is not ambitious. It looks like that after a point in time. Viewpoint only, no? Whatever comes to your mouth you can tell, which is where problem arises. And some people came up saying what? The culture of this organization has changed. Twitter is not anymore Twitter. Elon Musk said, yes, it is not Twitter, it is X. You get lost. Take your money, go. So in fact, they settled them on the same day and sent. Because they are like, we don't want you. You are toxic to this organization. Imagine if somebody contributed 10 years to your organization, you call them toxic and send them home. What will they go and do? They will go on Twitter and scold Twitter only. Which is what all of them did. Why? Because they didn't like the culture. So here what is culture? What is tangible? What is intangible? This is what happens. Lot of people left Apple after Steve Jobs died. Because they didn't trust the leadership. That happens so many times in so many places. Some things come out, some things don't. Right? After Sundar Pichai took over as CEO in Google, there are a lot of people who resigned and went. Why? Because they don't want to work under an Indian. These things won't come in news. Because these are not glorified, no? If they are glorified, it will lead to several things. So what is glorified? Another Indian CEO, head of another tech firm, like that positive statements will come out. See, what you believe to be true or what you believe to be news is what is created and sent across. There is a lot of racism, and that too specifically in the West. So obviously they would not want to, some people specifically who are very specific about that. Like how we have problems of caste and religion in India, we are not shying away or running away from that. No, we have to admit the fact it is there, and we are living in a society where it is there. So you cannot shun away all these things. That is what this whole chapter is all about. And in this, if you have to do businesses, the other day we discussed socio-cultural. I told you that's a never-ending topic. We can go on, keep discussing like that. Your own understanding of what? The problem is, sir, I want to understand. What do you want to understand? I don't know. Is it a serious problem or not? Which is, I gave you so many simple examples. There are several more examples like that. People don't trust leadership, like I just said. So many people resigned. Steve Jobs died. And he died not because somebody killed him or something like that. Right? He died in the natural course of action. People left because they didn't trust leadership. They're saying now there won't be any more innovation in this company. Which is somewhat true also anyway. But that is up to them. Because what they saw in their leader, many people continue to work in an organization or many people be in that organization is because of true leadership, which happened in India also. Right? When Ratan Tata said, okay, I am done with my duties in Tata, along with him, a lot of people who silently left that company and moved on. See, it might not be on the same day when they are announcing retirement, all these people will go. In the next few days, now this study is done internally and these results are not published outside. Okay, that is exactly why we don't get to know. Understood? And these are certain things that organizations would like to keep private. Why would they go announce? If you are bringing a new CEO, you will announce. If top employees in your organization are resigning, why will you announce? Okay. This is something that happened. Good managers in Reliance, they stuck with Mukesh Ambani, which is also one of the reasons why Anil Ambani failed in business. Because all good people, see, no organization can be built by one individual. You should understand. That is why it's called organization. You can be the face of it. So if somebody says Steve Jobs built Apple, Dhirubhai Ambani built Reliance, with the support of 1,000 other people. That is why we have one full topic now. Stakeholders. If they are not there, your organization is not there, you are also not there. So the most trusted people of Dhirubhai Ambani, they stayed back with Mukesh Ambani in Reliance. Some of them went with Anil Ambani. Okay, both of them have different approaches. One had a very peaceful approach, one had a very aggressive approach. Anil Ambani could have outplayed Mukesh Ambani multifold times. Because the kind of businesses he had, no? 2007, 8, 9. I was holding shares in every company that he had. Okay, now there is nothing to hold. Because he himself is not holding anything, one line. Anyway, we quickly realized, quickly in the sense, see that was so prospective that time. Because what you are talking about, green energy, what we are talking about, all this go green is a last 5 years stuff. There's a company that they put up in 2007, 8 with such vision, right? Going on, out and out, solar power, right? They launched so many things. But only thing is, when you do too many things under the same brand name, at some point of time, you will not be able to manage everything. And all these companies, no, they go by a logic of not playing with their own money. They take public money. And if they screw up big time. The problem with people in India is, if one small thing gets screwed up, they will not lose hope on that. They lose the hope on brand. That is what happens with Reliance. Because the brand name is Reliance. When you can't rely anymore on Reliance. That's the end of the story. I'm not joking. That's it. What he could have done with the set of companies he had. Same thing happened with communication. Is Reliance Jio not successful? Actually, Reliance Communication, which is, you know, every Indian should have a mobile. That is what their vision was, which they came close to, very close to, right? They called it RIM, Reliance India Mobile, and they launched phones like in the sense, they made handsets, you know, sell like how Jio gave SIM cards for free, you know, in 1,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees. I'm talking about a time where 1,000 rupees was a big money. They sold handsets like anything. Reliance Communication was the next best thing. Jio and all could have been outplayed. There could have been nobody coming in the power sector, in the communication sector. I mean, when you really want to know what I'm talking about, go and see what the portfolio of Anil Ambani's businesses were. Okay, very promising, all ahead of time. 2007, 8, 9, 10 was not the time for all those businesses. That is why people didn't have trust on that business will grow. So what they did, they didn't invest, or they invested but the company couldn't show returns. Now when a company is not giving returns, what will happen? Stakeholders will get disappointed. So what he did, started borrowing from others. When debts piled up and businesses didn't kickstart, you have to shut down. Classic example. Why? No good managers. Internally there are so many reasons. And what continued in Reliance Industries, which is the flagship company of Mukesh Ambani's group. Mukesh Ambani also went in retail, drastically failed with Reliance Footprint, Reliance Fresh. You pick up that retail business except for trends and digital, nothing shows profit on paper. Everything else is a loss making business only there also. Right? But only thing in the broader picture, all those get covered. And once when Jio kicked in, that's it. Their entire fate of their study, it changed. Now from 2008 to 2019 or 2008 to 2020, for about 12 years, Reliance Industries was hovering around where it was only. No value addition to stakeholders. So for 10 years, the shares or the valuation of the company roamed around the same. Each share was about 800 rupees in 2008. In 2020, that is pre-pandemic also, it was hovering around there only. 800, 900 range only. After that, when Reliance announced a series of projects, when they revealed how Jio became a flagship venture for them, how they, in 3 years time, from 19 to 22, the company grew threefold, 3 times to what it is today. I mean, to what it was in 2018 to what it is today, it grew 3 times. So what were they doing 10 years? They were all sitting and discussing how to grow. Internal environment is set. You need just that stage to launch. Who are your key stakeholders? What are you targeting on? Okay, that is what this chapter is all about. I think I've given more number of examples and context of what this chapter is all about. I think we should get to the first topic. If we read, we'll be able to understand. Internal environment. The reason why I explained you all this is because of the last but one point. What is it? Understanding of ethics, principles, work environment, employee friendliness, confidence of investors, other philosophical and cultural aspects is one of the toughest things to do, which is why I had to speak so much on it, which aim for success of the organization. Therefore, it is even more important to understand the internal environment from a strategic analysis perspective. I think you should never have any comparison, or you should never have that question in mind. What question? Which is more important, external or internal? Both are important. In fact, both are situational considerations of what each those are. Okay, chalo, let's do one of the very important topic. I think all of you know who stakeholders are. So, if any new point is there, we'll spend time on trying to understand that. Otherwise, I want you to do the introduction. Come on, quick. That straight away can be a question. I don't think such basic questions should make up to the exam, but like I said, sometimes paper setters they just go by picking up some random question, which this one could be. Who are stakeholders? Because you don't have a solid list of stakeholders for every business. Will stakeholders differ from business to business? That is exactly why the second question sparks up. Because who are stakeholders? Answer is straight. How do you identify them? In your opinion, who is a stakeholder? That's what sparks up to be an interesting point. Read up quickly. Who are stakeholders? How do we identify them? Because for your business, who you call a stakeholder only will become stakeholder, no? That is why. Read up quickly. Who becomes a stakeholder? Let us see that. Coalition means coming together of. For those who don't know the meaning of the word coalition, generally is a word used in politics. Coalition, when two political parties come together, it's a coalition to form a government. It's called a coalition government. Coming together of. Simple meaning. Coalition means what, ma? Coming together. Who are all coming together? You can read carefully. Stakeholders, a very broad word. Simple, yet a very broad word. I guess all of you know all these people. I don't think I have to explain. Do you know all of them? Employees, shareholders, investors. Okay, shareholders, investors. What's the big difference here? Generally, whenever you see this discussion, no, these two words are being used. Those who invest only become shareholders, no? Eventually, is there any rule like that? Will they still hold shares? Then see why they are giving two. If I have to go by what you said, they are called angel investors with no wings. Okay. You know who are angel investors? I'm not asking who are angels. That is a very debatable thing. I am asking who are angel investors. You know them? Those people in the initial days of business who come like angels. They don't come from anywhere, ma. Like, because when business is looking for capital, these guys will give that. You know, that is called seed funding. Okay. So there are some people who are called venture capitalists who don't look for strong financial statements, who look for a good idea and fund the business. They're called venture capitalists. They're putting capital into a venture, not into. So those people who in the beginning, they put money, they call angel investors. Or somebody who establishes a business by putting money, who's called a promoter and who supports that promoter strongly, right? Even a big ship, will in the middle of the sea, if you want to park it, you can just throw an anchor into the water. You understand what is an anchor? A small anchor, but can hold a big ship. Like that, these guys can hold big businesses. So sometimes they're even called anchor investors, right? Whenever business is in turmoil, these guys keep pumping money. That is what their job is to do. So anchor investors or angel investors, prospective investors. Prospective investors are future. They are not investors yet. The prospective. So like that, that is one group who is interested in putting money. In respect of what the money they gave, if you are giving them shares, they become shareholders. So that is why this in the name ideally, terminological difference and timing wise. So like he said, we can take that name. Investors are ones who invest initially, not necessary. You can invest in between, who can invest anytime. So it's not just about the time. Initial investors are called promoters. angel investors, venture capitalists, like that different names are there. But once you allot a share on their name, they become shareholder, right? So later don't have this confusion, that is why I am explaining this. Shareholder, if you are a clear, what is shareholding? I think you already discussed share capital. If you have a share in that share capital, you are a shareholder, and which is depicted by now a share certificate, now not physical, you can hold it in dematerialized form, correct or not? That's all, simple, right? The view of the firm in contrast with the earlier view that the firm that was considered to be an extension of the owners and shareholders alone. Obviously, no, owners and shareholders alone don't make up a firm. There are many more people. Who are those? Once again, everybody reiterated means they are reminding you once again. It is put strongly into your head, saying what? That the stakeholders can be defined as any person or group of individuals who could be internal or external, but who have, underline, has an interest. Any person or group of individuals, internal or external, who have an interest in or impact on the business or the corporate strategy of the organization. Stakeholders who have a power to influence the decision or not, right? Yes or no? They have a power to influence the strategy or performance of the organization. Broader word going by that: management, employees, shareholders, customers, vendors, all these people again come under the broader category of stakeholders. Additionally to this, other individuals and groups like government, trade or labor unions, local groups, they are also often considered as stakeholders depending on their impact on a particular organization. Each stakeholder or stakeholder group will be affected obviously by the business strategy. So when you make a business strategy which is not in the liking or not in the line of these people, what will they do? That's when they'll take boards and go out. Why? If I don't have any labor fighting, why will I have labor union problems? So if I make strategies which are conducive for everybody in the organization, I don't have to face that. But when I don't make strategies or when people are not happy, that is when all these points come up, right? It is important to first identify the key stakeholders. So what is the first and foremost step of the internal environment analysis? Don't go on keep shouting internal environment. Be clear on what it is. That is the meaning of that entire step. Sir, how will we know what is our internal environment? Take a white paper and list down all your key stakeholders. Guys, is the starting point clear? Each stakeholder. Now tell me, all stakeholders are equal? Hello, that is not such a difficult question. Come on. What is that? 90% silence. Each stakeholder, I am just asking. Okay, I'll change the simple. I'll make it very simple. All stakeholders are equal? No. That means you will give ranking? Tell me, how can we rank stakeholders then? Based on their power to influence business. Okay, I can take that point then. That is not the only reason. Come on. Based on their which interest? Financial interest? Hello? Arey, I am putting money in business. Should they give me importance or not? If they don't give me importance, I will not give them money. So if they are giving me money, should I get my share of importance or not? Of course. I won't give money, I won't give anything. I am somebody who set rules. Should they shut their mouth and respect government or not? A stakeholder. Labor group, labor union, labor laws. But sir, all these were external. Law making was external. The ones who follow that law within your organization, is that an internal issue or not? Because law is common for everybody. How you will follow that law is something that is internal to you. Now two organizations are there. I am here next building, one organization. I am following, they are not following. Or they are following, I am not following. For both of us the law is same or not? Guys, law or legal framework. Legal framework is internal or external? Legal framework of a country is external. Guys, listen carefully. I don't want anybody later coming up with the doubt that, that is why I am clarifying now itself. So our government outside, no, that day we saw an external. Government is external. Your influence, what you get influenced by that government, that is internal to you or not? Once again I am telling, legal framework, external or internal? External. Legal framework is external. Legal framework is for me or for all businesses? If Real Estate Regulation Act is there, that is for me or every real estate company? Every real estate, guys, yes or no? How I comply with Real Estate Regulation Act is internal. That is why we are telling. Now labor laws, PF, ESI, paying of PF, ESI, other bonuses, all these are guided by laws and regulation. I won't pay bonus to my employee. My wish. You and your union people fight. Next to me, another organization is there in next building. They are paying bonus to their employees. But is happy, clapping, celebrating. That is their culture. In my organization, I am not paying my wish. Law says if you have profits, you can pay. You can. It's a choice. Correct? If law says everybody's salary, PF has to be deducted, shut your mouth and do that. Because there's no choice. Like how the Income Tax Act, pay income tax if you feel. It doesn't say that. It says if you are making income, shut your mouth and pay tax. Everybody has to pay. The one who doesn't pay, straight away it's called non-compliance. Over. You bought a vehicle, my wish, I will go any side on the road. Your vehicle, you go and thrash it into the wall, you die. Nobody is asking. But once you are on the road, so road is a framework or not? Same way. Legal framework is where the businesses operate. How you operate within that legality is your headache. Compliance, non-compliance, part compliance, it's all on your head. Are you following, guys? Read carefully. Therefore, it is first important to identify who the key stakeholders are. Each stakeholder, okay, on that note, all of you, when you told that answer, are they different or same? Once again, when they are different, will the influence that they put on business, will that also be different? So in other words, can we say one stakeholder is sometimes more important than the other stakeholder? On what basis? Time wise, money wise, depending on what their influence currently is. If I'm going on an ambitious project right now, money is important for that project. So investors are God for me now. Once investors pour in all the money, now I have to get that executed. Then employees are God for me next. For that a right management is. So at each time, sir, are you saying once that is done, we'll ignore stakeholders? No. I mean, ignore those investors? No. They'll come after 1 year. At the end of the financial year, they'll come and give all the results, what you did with my money. That time again, they become important. What will you do? Array, listen, we got all the losses. Hold your nerves. Some people hold, some people don't. Those people don't, what will they do? Thank you, I'm exiting, bye. They might go. Some people are there, okay, very good. You're going in the direction what I want, take more money. Can both these happen to startups or not? That's what I said. Some startups, that's why they grow. Some startups, they remain startups. Some of them die. This is the reason. Very interesting in terms of learning so many new topics, guys, as we go on. These are all basic introductory points. But I want you to have a solid foundation on it. That's why I'm spending so much time with so many more examples, which we can relate back. But there's some excellent concepts coming up. Because no matter how hard you struggle to understand external environment, it is somewhat common for everybody. And in the real time, external environment is more static or internal environment is more static? Relatively. Because nothing is static as such. External is more static. But government, come on, yes or no? Government change once in 5 years. Laws change once in a while. 1956, 2013. That's how Companies Act changed. Of course, small amendments keep coming. Drastic changes, new act introduction. They won't happen daily. Demographics, we measure census once in 10 years. So how do you get demographic changes daily? Sir, 1 hour back India's population was so much, 3 hours later it is so. We don't know, no. We take this count across and we are great in rounding off. I told you, no, already the other day. 200-300 crores. What is India's population? Be there, sir, 1.4, 1.5. 1.4 or 1.5 billions you are talking about. Round up, sir. 10 crores, big deal. 10 crores. We are playing with rounding off with such numbers which are not the population of many countries. So there are some countries in the world who don't even come in our rounding off like that. Because we are a country of that huge size. And we don't take all these parameters daily, no? Are you understanding what I'm saying? External environment has a larger influence. Okay. It has, no doubt in that. But it's relatively static. Internal environment can change every 3 hours. What I just told you right now. Why it can change every 1 hour? Because just like how your moods are, internal environment also like that. Because internal environment is your mood. You means not an individual there, the organization. So if the CEO is irritated, he starts shouting at people. Those people will go and start shouting on others. Everybody will start shouting on others. It will be a very irritated organization. In 6 months time everybody will close and go. True or not? So an individual's behavior can reflect in the organization's performance. That is why I told you some time back, if a true leader is there, they're capable of driving the organization forward. At the same time, a leader is there, he can bring down the entire organization. Not because what their personal opinions are, it is in their driving style. Okay, see there. Each stakeholders, underline, I want put a star to that line, very, very important. Each stakeholder exerts a different level of influence, can have different levels of interest in the organization. That is a summary of the whole thing that we discussed across today. As an introduction to this topic, it is, like I said, a never-ending discussion on how deeply these people can influence. So before we start discussing important topics, I want all of you to go through the table, which is an example, which all of you very much relate to. Why did I tell that also? You can read while reading the example. For example, an organization involved in healthcare. Tell me guys, we already discussed a few days back. Healthcare, what is the most important thing? Software companies, what is the most important thing? Technology. Healthcare? Healthcare or pharma, what is more important? What did I tell you? Innovation, no? You have to find out new medicine. 10 years back, what treatment is there today also? If that is only there, where is growth? So in the healthcare sector, innovation needs to have a long-term perspective. Is that what we spoke about R&D, remember? The doctor who is sitting there and doing lab research. Hey, I gave you that example, come on. But we also told that he will not have the ability to produce 1 lakh medicines. Recently I gave you that example, no ma. One doctor is there who is finding what? A formula to make a medicine. So will that happen overnight? 1 week, 10 days, we don't know. It might take 10 years, but he might come with a fantastic formula. Maybe to cure cancer also by tablets, who knows? That is how what research is, no? See there, an organization involved in healthcare innovation needs to have a long-term perspective about its ROI. As there may be a long time gap is too long between what and what? Between investment into research and a commercial outcome. If you don't have patience, you should not get into that business. If you are a stakeholder who is very impatient, you can't get into business like that. You put money into technology, they'll find something which will come out and it will die in 3 years. Over. Because technology has short and fleeting lifespan. It doesn't take time like this. Sir, we are going to put money into AI or machine learning. Something will come. It will be there 6 months. Some other thing will come much better than that. Oh, gone. So it totally depends, like if you want a medicine to come out which can cure cancer, it has to take time. Time, understanding, process, trials, establishment, then finally patent will come. We don't know, it might take 10 years also. So when you are in that field, long-term perspective. While shareholders whose main concern is quick profits, no sir, I can't wait like that, then they are not going to invest in these kind of businesses. You put in technology, put in IT sector, put in real estate. Real estate will not hang all the time like what it is hanging now. Now it's a one-time situation because of post-pandemic effects. But otherwise real estate is fantastic. What will happen? Put money, get money, quick, that's all. Put money, buy land, construct the building, 1 year, 2 years, whatever construction time it takes, sell, make money, get lost, over. Start your next project. Is that how real estate works or not? Sir, what about unsold units? That is a problem. Now you have to be confident about it. That's what is happening with everybody, no? Because when public is in the buying spree, you don't have a problem. Banks are funding, they are buying. You have ready buyers. All you need to do is to construct the building and give them. Now also, those people who are into real estate, see, somebody constructing one house in the small street, that fellow is also called real estate dealer only. So those businesses are not very affected. Somebody is constructing a 3-story, 4-story building. They are doing their business. Now the real problems what I am talking about is those who are putting up those 5 blocks, 10 blocks, each block 20 floors, 800 residential units in one place. They are facing problems because their investment is huge. And to recover that investment, they are charging prices which are exorbitant. And people are like, okay, no, thank you, wait for some time. Which is exactly why their money is stuck. Sir, will it happen every time? No, it won't. That is why the idea, tell me, one part of the whole city thrives on that kind of a setup only or not? Because they are working there, they need a place to live. They are not bothered about, I need to have a small place, I need to have a place for myself. They are not there at home only. Why they need all that? So that's why they are in a commercial setup. Even if a 25-story building is there, you have one house in that, I am done. Because I come there only to sleep and next day go back to office. That's how the people there are. There that business works. But when people are like, no, let us focus on saving some money. Now many people are in that zone only because of, losing somebody in their family in the last 5 years. So all our savings got washed away in 1 week. We got a hospital bill for 20 lakhs. No, that is very serious. Many people learned a lot of lessons. Why financial discipline is more important. Why random spending should not be encouraged. Nobody taught. The pandemic itself became a very good teacher to so many people. Despite being taught, see all this nobody taught in school. They won't teach also. If they teach all this, people will really become intelligent. Then if you are really intelligent, why will you go and work for somebody? So the entire culture will be destroyed, no? So they don't do all that. This is your own understanding. But once in a while like this, situations in the external environment come and explain and go. Hello, we are also there. What you can do when we come. Pandemic was a classic example that I personally knew businesses, my own clients who were thriving for long time. 3 months and businesses got closed. No, that's all. My business was run generations together. 30 years, 25 years, 30 years business was running. But you know what they did? They never saved. They enjoyed all the money, profits that they got. Now all that they have is their fancy house, vehicles, which will not drive business, no? Right? And at a point in time, businessman is ready. Sir, I want to sell my car's house, but I want to run my business. Business will not run like that. Business should have, you should run the business. Business should not be, in a situation where you have to sell your assets, bring money. Chalo, you are ready to sell. He said, sir, I'll sell everything. Your house is worth 5 crores. All these years, you built that. And at this time, he's going and putting that house for sale. Who will buy? Is anybody outrightly ready to buy that? You should find buyers also, no? Sooner or later, you will learn that also. Hey, we already studied the other day in competition. You are willing to exit. You remember that point or not? It's a classic exit barrier. So what you will do? Shut down, sit in front of that and cry. Well, I'm not, telling for fun or for joke. That's what happened. With so many people that I know. Now when I know so limited set of people, with them only if this happens, just if you pull out an analysis India-wide, the pandemic was worldwide. I am telling India-wide. Pull out a statistic and see. Horrible internal environment maintenance. How much money is coming in? How much money is going out? No idea. Profits are there. Money is there in the bank account. Enjoy. Business should always have. You have, all of you are accounting students. You know what reserves and surplus mean. Park something in general reserve. Contingency fund. I don't know spelling only, sir. Very good. When you don't know the spelling, you will not know the meaning. When you don't know the meaning, why will you be contingent? And some people, despite knowing the meaning, they will be like, may or may not know, sir. No problem. With me, it is always may not. God will take care. Classic ideology or mindset of going by what is there today. We will see tomorrow when it comes. Tomorrow will come, you only won't be there to see it. Simple. I am not joking. This is fact. And when time, once in 5 years, something like this will come and teach and go. Pandemic was really harsh. Okay. But otherwise, every 5 years, something like this will come in business. In 2008, I don't know if you guys studied something about that. There's a, 2008 is a landmark year for what? A financial recession. Where? Not in streets of India, across the globe. US primarily being affected. Deep turmoil in the US. Okay, there, that is fantastic. Okay, if you really get to the bottom of how that happened, you'll see like how can people be like so foolish. You get to that, to a point where you understand that some intelligent brains have operated. At the same time, globally everything was going on, recession was going on. India was, like unshaken at that point of time. People here have fantastic mindsets, right? Thanks to all the, what happened in 2009 after that entire crisis was going on, where we had to declare the world how much. So our then finance minister, he came out and said, no, our banking system is pretty strong. How many banks, every country is declaring how many banks they closed, how much public money was lost. Our people are coming out and saying, we didn't do anything like that. Our economy is going absolutely strong and fine. Thanks to all Indian housewives. That's what he said. Why? Because when 100 rupees comes home, they'll take 40 and go and save first. Balance 60 is when they decide spending. The opposite of what they do in Western culture. First they take, they spend. If anything is left over, they'll think of savings. Here, no, we know all households, right? First 40 will go off. So new number will come into picture, 60. That is only our available money. Where is that 40? Don't ask. No, right? People in our country have more gold than anybody else in the world. Anybody else means what? Not Federal Reserve or RBI. Houses, private ownership. That is okay. For the reason why I am telling you that is, people here have the habit of thrift and savings. Not in the last few years. The current generation is again fair enough. Because that is again, like I said, I told no yesterday, you only live once. That story only that is. You live once only, but in that only you will have troubles. Right? Point is very simple. Thrift and savings if you have, where do you keep your money? You keep it in the banking system. And when you keep all your money in banking system, a sound banking system is what the country's financial health is for. Same way, for your own business health, you should understand. That is why good businessmen don't come from schools and colleges. No? Good businessman comes from good business, not from good colleges and schools. Because you can't create a good businessman in a college. Whatever I am telling you, they all learn out of experiences. Now if I see my parents have struggled to do something and saved, I will also save. Simple. It's an example. If I see my parents are spending all the time, or people around me, not only parents, anybody, I get to see various lifestyles. No, whichever I am influenced by, I will follow that. Sir, my parents always are spending, they're not saving. I mean, like, they're not saving anything. I won't have anything left. That is one mindset. What will we do, sir, by saving? Spend and enjoy. That is another mindset. Up to you. As long as you're not hit by something, all this will not make an impact. Okay? But where you are, accordingly, you should determine your perspective is a short-term one or a long-term one. Because some businessmen are there, like what they want quick profits. They are more hesitant to support these kind of organizations, spending money on something that might not see return in the near future. This was the problem of the India in 80s and 90s. I don't want to wait. I have to take home salary every month. That's why we said, somebody let them take the risk. We'll only work. This changed over 3 decades of time. Now people are ready to accept the fact that I will start a business. And a startup will take at least 5 years to settle. This idea is sinking in right now. And 5 years is not a big time. It's something that is being understood now. Back then 5 years mean they'll calculate each year salary 5 lakhs. 5 years into 5 lakhs, 25 lakhs. I am missing an opportunity. You're not missing an opportunity. Actually, I think if you studied economics basically, there is something called implicit and explicit. If you always keep counting explicit, that if I am not here, I will do 100 other things. There is always an next best alternative, no ma. If you are in space, you will tell, no sir, earth only is good. If you are on earth, you will tell everything else is good. So, generally, it is like that, a tendency. The place you are will not have much of an attraction. You will always, they tell, no, the grass is greener on the other side. Now, what is grass only is not there. Who knows? So, that is exactly what I am telling. When it comes to internal environment, you need to assess certain factors very carefully. It is totally a game of mindset. Short term, long term, these are all terms that come in only in your mind. So if you are somebody who needs quick profits, choose businesses which give you quick profits. Can it get quick losses also? That means risk and reward will be proportional accordingly or not? Same way. No sir, I am ready to wait, but I need a solid outcome. Then do something like that. Put up in innovation. Let it take 10 years, but come with a solid outcome. I am not saying 10 is a general number. Saying, alright, if you finish the example that is there below, we can get to some interesting topics. Come on. That's a 2-minute task for you. Stakeholders for OTT platform. Best and the latest example, I guess all of you are using some OTT platform or the other. So, since the expectation of key stakeholders can influence an organization's strategy, a clash of objectives. If different stakeholders have different objectives, a clash of objectives may lead to, underline, unfavorable consequences. So it is a very important to understand what your stakeholders want, for which you should understand who your stakeholders are. Two simple questions. Who are my stakeholders? What do they want? If you understand this, you can categorize stakeholders into specific groups and try to cater each one of them. If you are confused about who your stakeholders are, no direction. like I said. Or if different stakeholders in organizations need different things. Sir, means what? Like I told, no? Some stakeholders are expecting only returns in terms of money. Some are expecting growth in terms of assets. Some are expecting something else. Now, how do I cater to everybody? Will all this conflict somewhere or the other or not? See, either I can give money or growth or sustainability, something. No, sir, I want everything. Then we have to box each of them and try to give them timeline. You want money? No, okay, you wait 5 years. What do you want? Brand success. Wait 3 years. What do you want? Something else. Okay, you wait 1 year. You can clearly time box each one of them and give targets. And accordingly make strategies based on each stakeholder's interest. Sir, how will I know all this? Read example. Come on, quick. Key stakeholders and their requirements in an OTT platform. OTT platform, take something like Netflix or Amazon Prime in your mind. Keep that in your mind and read. If that is what, let's say you are working there, or you are a CEO there, or you are a shareholder there, put yourself into that example and read. If you are a shareholder, what is your requirement? If you are the CEO of Netflix, how will you think? If you are an employee in Netflix, how will you think? Everything is there. Just a simple set of words to understand. If you do that, you will get an idea of what we discussed all this while. Who are stakeholders and why are they so wide in number, and how they are wide, and each of them how they have preferences. Come on. Because rest of the chapter is on catering to each one of them and their priorities. Is there one single strategy for all that, or should we make multiple strategies? Very good. We will make multiple strategies, but for which you should know who wants what. Read up. In fact, who wants what? The first part is what? The who, right? That is anyway there on the left side. You already know who stakeholders are. Just figure out what they want. Come on. Very, very simple example there. If you and I are customers, what do we want? Discounts, cheaper pricing. Every day one new movie should upload so that we can see that. Like that, each stakeholder has different requirement. Come on. I am hoping that you are aware of all those words. Yeah, I don't think any complicated word is there in that. Come on, quick, everybody, very easy. Done. If you are a shareholder of Netflix, what do you expect Netflix to do? Should you expect, will you expect Netflix to be number one in the market of OTT or not? Highest market share. Guys, actually they didn't give that in any preferred order, please understand, because they told responsibility, social responsibility, that comes last. You remember we discussed objectives in the first chapter. Hello? Objectives. Social responsibility or public responsibility. If that is your primary objective, then start charitable organization, no? I told you this, you remember or not? So they didn't give that in any specific order, they just gave it as what you require. If I am the shareholder of Netflix, or I am shareholder of any OTT, I am shareholder of any company, I will expect my company to be the leader in that particular market. Yes or no? Then I would want my company to be top rated, top ranked organization, the most viewed OTT platform. That's what I want my company to be. I don't care what is being viewed, because I want more number of viewers. I want more money. As a shareholder, I am thinking here. Tell me, ROI. And of course, do I want my company to keep creating innovative and continuous content or not? Because when that stops, well, that's the heartbeat of that company. If that stops, company will stop. Sir, in the last 1 month, Netflix didn't add a single movie. That means you will wait for the next month. You are going to have drop of subscribers in so much count. Very much possible. Why? Because new content is not being added. And some people are only paying for watching new content every now and then. Right? Because they'll watch, they put up something they don't like, they'll move to another genre. Hundreds of preferences, hundreds of choices. Customer group are simple to handle, no? So innovation, if it is not there, it will be a pack up in the story. And then I also would like my company to be responsible to the society. But that is last. First you give me. I put money, no? Give me back. If over and above something is there, distribute it. Remember in the previous chapter we discussed, where do we draw all the resources from? Environment. Give it back. Okay, be responsible. That will make a good name for you. Not only a name, but it is like, you know, if I don't do charity directly, now let's say I am a shareholder of any Tata Group company. Tata Group does a lot of charity. Now if they don't do that, see, this is very wide in thinking, but if they don't do that, will all that money belong to shareholders or not? So maybe I am not doing charity directly. If somebody comes and asks me money, I am saying no, I won't give. But I invested my money in Tata Group. They're doing it's like they're doing it on my behalf. It's very bad. I mean, like very wide perspective look, which is true, but okay. I'm a shareholder of Wipro, right? I'm reading a column says Mr. Azim Premji is the highest donor in the country. Very good. My money only donated. I have 2 shares in Wipro. I'm saying Azim Premji donated. Fine, fair enough. But still, it does work like that. I'm saying. Okay, because if you hold 1 share also, you're a shareholder, no ma. Whatever we want, we can talk. But at the end of the day, this is the expectation of a shareholder. Now put yourself in the position of a CEO. What do you want your company to be? You want prestige? You want your company to be talked about well? You want your company to be ranked well? You're obviously running behind market share. And as CEO, we are more interested in what? Numbers, market rankings, top OTT platform. That's what I want everybody to keep calling me. And obviously, if that is done, I'll have targets on my revenues and profit growth. Major vendors. Now, who are the major vendors to an OTT platform? People who create content and give us production house. They want growth. They obviously, they're not going to create one nice, you know, like a 8 or 10 episode web series and give it to some OTT platform that has no viewers. If some production house is spending some money and creating something, right? Just think of Netflix. Netflix has its own production house, correct or not? Produced by Netflix. Now, if I produce something, I can go and show that content to Netflix and say, do you want to buy this? Outside production house. Netflix does that. Used to do that. But Netflix, instead of depending on outsiders from all the money that they have, they start their own production. So good content writers are hired. They write those episodes. Netflix only pays for shooting them. Netflix only pays the actors. Netflix only does promotions because their OTT presence is huge. Guys, are you understanding what is going on here? Stability of ordering, because when that stops, it's like my clock stops. And then stable margins. I can't keep doing charity every time. Okay, give your web series for free. We'll promote it. Take 10 crores, we will also get 10 crores. What are you doing? So if I pay production house 10 crores, I should make 20 crores out of that or not? I mean, not necessarily numbers, but I'm saying, should I make more? Obviously. And then, now, look at the other stakeholder group, customers. Put yourselves, let's put our, what are we looking at? I don't care anything, I want deals. 999, 899, 2 devices, 1 device, whole family, right? Take other people's ID, whatever. Best suits, better deals and pricing. Daily something new has to be added. It has to keep coming on my phone or device, whichever I watch. New content added. You watch or don't, doesn't matter. It has to constantly be sent in your head. That is why when you open any OTT platform, first thing will be that only, new additions. 9 out of 10 of those new additions or something might not interest you at all. But it will keep your mind going. Array, daily something new is coming. That's all they want. They don't want the last new added content is 1 month back. Like I said, array, they are not adding anything. What you want is already there in that. Why should they add? But customer will not think like that. No, he'll think it's an outdated platform. This one, which we discussed so much. That customer who pays 149 rupees for a monthly subscription on 1 device, that fellow also has expectations. Because 1 rupee is also 1 rupee here. You cannot say, hey, other fellow is paying 999. He should have more expectations than you. He is paying for 999 because he is able to pay. He is paying for 149 because he or she is able to pay that only. You cannot discriminate customers. You remember in economics you studied something called price discrimination? Selling the same thing to different people at different prices. That works in some places, that doesn't work in many places. This is one of those places it doesn't work. Right? And last point, I hope everybody knows. If they stop supply, demand also will stop. Employees. So people working in Netflix. People working in Netflix or any XYZ organization. Everybody's first expectation is this only. Correct or not? Then If Netflix collapses, what is the first thing that they are going to do? Forget about Netflix. Any company, when anything happens to the company, what will happen? Company will have immediate policy to fire people. Yes or no? Right? The first thing that any company does, whenever, that to tech companies, right? Elon Musk signed as CEO of Twitter, 3,000 people gone. Right? Because they thought they are not needed in the organization. Infosys this year removed 8,000 people. Cognizant, 20,000 people gone. Now everything might not come in news, like I just said. This is called internal retrenchment. There's a technical name for it. Silently they'll fire people. Why? Because they're not value adding. Arey, money should come, no one side to pay you. I'm not doing any charity here. If I have work for you, I will get that work, give you, make you do the work. You take something, I'll take something, both are happy. When I'm not getting any work only, why will I hire you and keep? They do that. TCS, Infosys, all these tech companies for that matter, they hire people and keep them on bench. Why? In anticipation of a project. Because suddenly you can't get quality people when you get a good project. So always they keep holding. But when you don't get any new projects, existing projects only are going out of your hand. Then why will I keep all these people? Send them. Lay off, it is called. Anyways. Like that, the simple point there, what are trying to be projected is that different requirements are there for different stakeholders. Are we clear on this one? Guys, what is that the first thing that we are starting to understand in internal environment? The first basic aspect that we are trying to understand in internal environment is who are stakeholders, how to identify them, and what are their requirements. That example is a good, very basic example to understand what this is. I want everybody's full concentration on this topic here, right? This matrix, very simple, whatever we discuss now is put in the form of a matrix. I told no, you have your understanding, put that up in proper form and write your name below that, it becomes a management theory. If it works well, provided, important point. So, in fact, I can let you read this matrix after all this discussion that we had. I don't think you will have any problem in understanding that. But let me explain you the theme of Mendelow's matrix. The point is very simple. What did we do all this 1 hour? Who are stakeholders? What are they expecting and what their influences are? Some time back you only told, sir, we will give ranking. Did you tell me that when I asked you or not? Who are key stakeholders? Tell me, can you have a definition for key stakeholders? Tell me guys, when your customer will come on the top or employees will come on the top? I told you very clearly. Situational. This guy is answering that situation only. You know what is the theme there? It is also known as stakeholder analysis matrix. But the reason I told you I never end up doing some time pass just by giving examples. All the while whatever I discussed in detail, it's accumulated. Okay, I will give you time. I want you only to read this because what I did in the previous topic is a clear explanation of this. Now tell me, will you give all stakeholders equal weightage? All stakeholders are important. Guys, I want proper answers here. Come on. All stakeholders are important. Yes. All stakeholders are equal. No. On what basis will you rate stakeholders? Based on time. Don't think of anything else. Time. Today, who is an important stakeholder? Can he become not so important later? Today, who is not very important? Can they become? So, can this list go up and down? We will not make this as a list. We will make it as a matrix. Matrix means few boxes. Toward the bottom right, you can see 4 points. Okay. Low priority. What is low priority? You are not needed. Go home. You are there, but you are not my top consideration in my head. There are some people, if you disappoint, they'll go. And when they go, business also will go them. That is why they come first. Keep satisfied. Constantly you have to keep customer. Remember customer? My customers are not there. Business itself is not there. No ma. Key player. If somebody is a key player, not very important, but at the same time, you are not going to tell them come tomorrow. So, address. Whenever requirement is there, address. Then, there are certain people, shareholders. They don't need daily, you don't have to call shareholder and say, hello sir, today we made this profit. Once in a year, publish an annual report, give proper information, keep them informed what is going on. One fellow trusted you and put money in business. No, respect that fellow. And he is not expecting every 1 hour or 2 hour reports like our finance manager in the organization. Tell me how many new accounts you created today. That guy is not asking that. That guy put money. He is expecting return over a period of time. Keep them informed. So this idea of Mendelow's matrix is very simple. Stakeholders are same. Throw them in proper boxes. Who you call key player today, can they become low priority later? Who are of low priority right now, can they come to the first box to keep satisfied? That's almost. Story will revolve around these boxes. If you know where your stakeholders are, can you do the right action or not? How many actions Mendelow discussed? 4 actions. Tell me what are the 4 actions? Keep satisfied, call them key players, call them low priority, keep informed. Sir, how do I know which stakeholder should I do what? I will give you 5 full minutes, but I don't want anybody ending up wasting time by talking and all that. If you're doing that, then I will only read. But if you want to have a proper understanding of the whole summary of what we discussed last 1 hour, it's a beautiful way to, what do you say? Bring everything and pull it as a topic. Okay? Let me read up what is there in the beginning. The Mendelow's shareholder matrix, or rather stakeholder matrix, is in other words also called the stakeholder analysis matrix, which is underlined, also called the power interest matrix, which is a very simple framework to help you understand how to manage key stakeholders. Whatever we have been shouting all this while, who needs to know what, when, underline. Who means person, what means content, when means timing. Well, has our last 1 hour discussion been surrounding on these 3 points only or not? What did you learn in the previous page? Who are stakeholders, correct? And who are key stakeholders? Did I keep on shouting the same thing? It is circumstantial. Is it time based or not? When? What I would like to know today is not what I would like to know maybe 6 months later. Sir, today, sir, last time you asked it. Last time I asked that. Now my requirements are different. So remember 3 things. What? Who? What? When? To answer this, keep satisfied, keep informed, call them key player, low priority. They're not sitting on your head right now. They have low priority. You can take care of them, right? Government, can you put in the low priority category? Government, can you put them in low priority category? Why ma? No, you are afraid of government. I told you, no. Give them importance once in a month whenever you have to pay tax. Rest of the days they are not bothered. Give them importance in that one time when you have to file a return. Give them 365 days. Why will you have to keep government on top priority? They are also not asking you. They are giving you deadlines, not to file return. Are you understanding what I am saying? So, in that month where you have to file returns, where due dates are there, government will not remain in the low priority box. They will come in, keep informed, or they will come in more key priority. Rest of the year they will come up to low priority. Rest of the year maybe customer is your high priority. Who knows? So people keep moving within these 4 boxes. That is his theory, which is very valid and very good. Okay, like I said, sir, why should he only write? I can also understand this. Maybe you should have understood and you write. You write your own matrix. It should just work. That's all. How many stakeholders are there? Limited. Where will they go? In these 4 boxes. He wrote the theory first. So we are reading. Simple. Read up. Who needs to know? Managing a project is extremely complicated as it involves multiple or various stakeholders. Who needs to know what, when, who needs to give their feedback, who has the final approval, can all become very confusing. However, it is confusing, so I will leave and go is not an option. No, it is confusing, we know that. However, managing stakeholders is critical. So what does this person suggest? Mendelow suggests that one should analyze the stakeholder group based on power. Power means what? Clearly given. See, in the month where you have to file the return, if you miss the due date, who has the highest power to influence you that month? Government. Because next month they will seal your company. Correct or not? I paid my taxes on due date. On or before the due date, I paid my taxes. I filed my return. Will government influence me? Why? Why will they not influence? Because I am doing what they asked me to do. Are you following? So do they have the power to influence me? Right, listen carefully. Do they have the power to influence me? Yes, then why are they not influencing? Because I didn't let them use their power. I complied to what they asked for. Guys, are you understanding? Please, there is some name in the matrix. Power interest matrix. That is why they are explaining that. Because in the next point he will explain interest. How interested are you? Shareholder is not interested for 365 days. He is interested for that one day where you publish your financial results. He didn't like it. Next day he will not be your shareholder. He will go to the open market, sell shares and go. Guys, are you understanding? Sir, do everything of all this happen practically? Spend 6 months in stock market. You will appreciate every topic that is there in this book. Simple. Very simple. Why 6 months? Because 6 months is about, if you have time for 1 year, you can spend 1 year also. But spending time in not sitting and watching CNBC daily. Put your money. Lose it. Sorry. Learn. Always. See, you can learn, gain, whatever it is. But when you are there, no, every quarter, every 3 months when these results are being published, how it influences the stock market in sectors that you put money. Sometimes everything will be going up. Only the company that you put money will be there only, or it will be going down. 3 years if you shut your mouth and keep, where everything is going down, only that company that you put money will keep going up. I have experienced both. Okay, it's part of the game. It takes a little time to understand all this for you. For you means for any player. But like I said, you read some time back. We don't have patience. Sometimes people need quick profits. Right? I told you some example some time back. 800 Reliance shares. I was a shareholder from 2007-8 sometime that time. I held till 2015. It's not moving this that with little profit or something like that. I sold. And then I was like, okay, Reliance, no, it's big deal. Then in the same time, right around the same time in 2009, I bought another company, small company whose name, is not even heard of. And they came for an IPO. It's a prospective company. So I bought about 100 shares at about 70 rupees. I'm rounding off. It was even less than that, 68 rupees something. Right? I bought for 7,000 rupees around 2009. I left it. In 2017, I sold 50% of that stake for about 4 lakhs. Okay. You cannot imagine I only couldn't believe. I checked 3 times what I'm selling, correct only. Because company when they came up, it's huge sometimes. But like I said, there are some companies which will take all your money and go also like that. Something like that. They said no, Anil Ambani. See, there is no good day or bad day there. It's all about how time is. So each one of this, sometimes all you are expecting is information, not money. Because money will follow that. The reason why I am telling you this is, because that is a place where all this happens irrespective of who you are. You need not be in business to know what business is. Okay. If you buy a single stock of any entity, one share, you are still a shareholder. So you still can have an understanding of what is happening in that company. I am just telling you if you are curious in learning. Now, without knowing all this also, life can go on peacefully. There is nothing like that. But if you are thinking that this is a 50-mark subject, some question answer type, something will come, we'll study and read. That's a good approach for you as a student. But what is this matrix? Will anybody do all this? Will this practically happen? I am saying yes. Okay. See there. 2 things. Mendelov suggests one should analyze all your stakeholders in 2 categories. Does stakeholder have power? Yes. How much? Power is nothing but the ability to influence the organization's strategy or its resources. 2. Is the stakeholder interested? How interested they are in the organization succeeding? If you are the shareholder, you are the most interested in the organization succeeding. Right? A thing to remember is that all stakeholders may seem to have lots of power, and organization may hope they have lot of interest too. But that is what is visible. It is not necessary. Correct? Government, does it have a lot of power? Of course, yes. Government, it has a lot of power. But just because for the whims and fancies of government, we'll ban that company. Why? Simply, Government can't tell that. No, when I'm complying everything of what I'm supposed to do, I'm going the most legal way I can. How will government come and close? We don't like the color of your name board. Take that only and beat whoever is officer. Anyways. But that's not something, no. You understand? Government means who? Government means who again? Current officer? That is also something that you have to understand. Government means, government is a system, no man. System keeps changing in terms of time. Right now, whoever is the compliance officer, if that fellow is a stupid fellow, he'll trouble all the businesses for some time. 3 years later, when his term is over, one fellow came who's very helpful or conducive to everybody in the business. Very nice. That is how things work. So, who has lot of interest? Who has lot of power? We can't tell. Today, who has lot of power? My angel investor, he has lot of power. In what? In decision making. Because what? Because he is only putting money. So I have to listen to them. Tell me, if my business grows, whoever invested it before, will they have lesser influence on me or not? Because there are so many companies that drive out these angel investors. You have been an angel, go rest in peace. They'll do that. Why? Because they don't have, that stake anymore as big. For one biggest example of how a startup can go great and collapse, Byju's educational institutions. One of the biggest names in edutech. All of you know Byju's, right? You also know the rise and fall. Recently, there's a huge drop in valuation. Why? All their stakeholders were there initially. They have been shouting, "Arey, not that much valuation is not there. Listen, listen, listen." People are like, no, 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 no. Same thing happened with Swiggy, Zomato, everybody. Right? Just that too much overvalued. Your idea is fantastic, but that doesn't mean, like you are the one to control that world. And because there were no big strong name in edutech, they took it up. But when you actually, your numbers are not speaking for itself. Once you see those things on balance sheet, because as long as you're talking in air, anything can look very glorified. I can take a stupid company and give a speech about it saying that that is the best company. All of you will believe also. Why? Because I am telling so. Correct or not? Because you will not, right now immediately you will not have numbers or any ability to sit and validate whatever I am telling. If I take any X Limited which you don't know and I tell some fun and fact that this is what it is. Like I just told, I made money. I can make it up also. In this case I didn't, but I'm generally, I can tell, I can make up anything. People will believe because you don't have information. Not because you have to trust me or not. You don't have information. So it is like that. So people believe what they see. And when they saw numbers, they're like, okay, this is how Byju's is performing. Then what the hell is this valuation? Somebody said, okay, thank you, give me back my money. When one fellow said, give me back my money, other fellow started panicking. All right, this educational institution is putting all our money to waste. They're not able to generate. 4 or 5 people went up. What is the first thing that company will do? I told you. Who are the first victims? Employees. They said, okay, we are reducing our operations right now. Thank you, go home. Negative sign. Now, that could have been a very positive sign from the organization. How will newspapers write? Byju started laying off. Okay, that's layoff is a practice in business. But why should you sound negative? Because it is coming in such a time where people are already talking negative about you. Byju has no business. People are being sent home. Investors are taking their money back. That's all. A company that was here will suddenly come. It will again go there some other time probably. Or it will come down, rest in peace. That's how happens to some companies. It totally is depending on all this. Who is your key stakeholder? But in reality, underline, all stakeholders are not equal. What you told me some time back is absolutely right. Validate that, underline that sentence. Some stakeholders have more power than the others, and some stakeholders will definitely have more interest than the others. For example, a big shareholder is likely to have higher power and higher interest in organization. Obviously, I hold 10 shares of Reliance versus Mr. Mukesh Ambani. He is more interested in Reliance than I am. I am also interested. So each share is 2500. I put 25,000 of my money in Reliance. Good. Nobody can tell me I am wrong, no? Because for 25,000 is big money for me. Right? 25,000 crores is big money for Mukesh Ambani. Makes sense. But money is still money. But he is a higher stakeholder. He will have more influence and power than what I am. But you can't tell me I don't have interest. I have. Very minute, minority interest. Read there. Big shareholder is likely to have high power and high interest in an organization. Whereas a big competitor will have a high power to impact your strategy. Again, same example of Jio, which I have kept on giving. Jio is a big competitor? No, it is just a new entrant when it came. Hello? Yes or no? But did they have the ability to influence everybody's pricing policies or not? That's what happens. But potentially less interest. They didn't have so much interest in the telecom market. They created that interest. How? By showing that they have more power, or they could powerfully influence that. Like I said, I want all of you to take a couple of minutes. It's just a summary. Nothing new is there. We will again in couple of minutes discuss. But I want you to do it in the first place. For example, the CEO is, what that CEO is doing, I want all of you to understand the story of power and interest, which are of two very important words, which is what people die for even in, like, say, anything. Here we are talking about business. Are those the two words that people are dying for in politics? Yes or no? Either people should know me, or I should have considerable power that I can do anything. Power and interest are certain things that keep everything going. Anyways, developing a grid. I don't want to do that because he has already done it. No, Mendelow's matrix is prepared already. All we need to do is to read and understand in which block we have to throw what. Come on. Low, high, low and high. It's a 4-box matrix. Each of them have clear idea of what it is. I want who will be thrown in which box, we can decide later. But what are the boxes? I want all of you to read that carefully. Come on, guys. And while reading, please concentrate on each and every word. That does make a lot of sense. Keep satisfied, keep layer, low priority, keep informed. I suggest you read the content first and then come to the box. Done, guys. What is there? Nothing much there. Same thing what we discussed only is put up. What does it suggest? What is the matrix talking about? Two things. What is it? Stakeholders having power and interest. The matrix there, what do they define? They talk about couple of things. What are those? Who has high power and high interest? High power and high interest. If somebody has high power, okay, this is power or influence story. This is interest in the organization. Right? Check this out. How is it coming out? Management would need to closely manage. Now see, low power, low interest. What did we put them as? Guys, I'm asking you only. Come on. Low power to low interest. Here, ma. This one. Low power to low interest. What are we doing with them? Low priority. No tension. Okay, only monitor. You don't have to meet day to day. No engagement is required. General, once in a while, communication. Hi, hello, how are you? Are you there? Yes, we are also there. That's all. They are a stakeholder, so respect them. That's all. Nothing but they are low priority. You don't take them into your head in every decision that you make. But look at something that is on top of them. Low interest. High power. Can we call employees in that block? Employees. Do they have any financial interest in our organization? Did they put any money? Nothing. They are employees. So what do they have? But tell me, can the employee, can they reveal our secrets to competitors? Can they mess up our production schedules? Purposefully one employee like, you won't give me increment, no, you see what I will do. They can have vengeance, right? Vandalism. They can create a group and say, you created organization, no, but we are creating a group. Now this group will go against the organization. I have people to fight outside called competitors. Here somebody is creating one group inside. What should I do? Keep solving all these fights or come to the next way? So if you disappoint your employees, who are your immediate source of making revenues, so that is why they use the word keep satisfied. They have high power, but they are of low interest. They don't put lot of money and all that. They put time. They want to be satisfied. But what is the most important stakeholder group? You can see there. Key player. What is that? Manage closely. Put them into decision making. Engage regularly and build a strong relationship. Why? Because these are guys who have both high power and high interest. Mukesh Ambani for Reliance is falling in that box. Guys, are you following what I am talking about? Then high interest is there. High interest but low power. This is just could be somebody who's like the government. They have high interest, right? But they don't have a power to wield you daily. So once in a while, hello sir, we are also there, thank you. What do they expect? Timely filing of returns, timely paying of taxes. They give due dates, you comply. They won't trouble you, you don't trouble them. Simple. Are you following, guys? What should you do? Keep informed. Utilize the high interest, engaging in decisions. Consult areas of expertise or interest. They are not people who daily want to be involved or troubled. Like I said, keep informed. So, can it be a head of R&D? Head of R&D. Will you involve them daily in decision? No. Keep them informed. This is what we are doing. This is what they are. Right? And no, like say, something is going on in Tata Motors. Every small thing going on in Tata Motors. Do you think they'll call Ratan Tata? Hello, this is what we are doing. No. He is of people who are high interest. But right now they don't have power. They are one of the board members. That's all. Keep them in. CEO, let them take the call. I think the example was more clear. Guys, everybody, tell me honestly, did you understand all these words? Tell me what are the 4 categorization that we are making. Low to low. Low priority. Low interest. High power. Keep them satisfied because though they have what? I'm talking about high power with low interest. What are you supposed to do with them? Keep that. If both are high, they are the key player. Despite having high interest, but you are not going to have a high influence, you are having a low influence, then you should just keep them in. Understood, guys? Now, for CEO is likely to have more power. Okay, I think it's a conversion of all our examples. The CEO is likely to have more power to influence the work and also is having the high interest in being successful. Keeping them informed almost daily should be a priority. Those stakeholders with low power and low interest, like I just told you, research institute seeking data. Forbes is asking you for information or Bloomberg is asking, they are not my priority, no? Forbes is asking, sir, give your last 5 years data, I will make a research paper on you and publish. Come tomorrow. When they came next day, I said, come tomorrow. I have other works to do. Giving you data is not my top priority. No, sir, we need PR right now. We need to put our company on the map. Come here, Forbes. Take all that and go. Because right now I want Forbes to speak about me. Because in 3 months I am going to launch a new product. Then will this be of high priority or not? Like that. Depending on the time. Guys, the entire game is of time. That's what I tell you. Okay. Who is key player today? Necessarily need not be a key player forever. Remember that much. It's very simple. Okay. Somebody is asking you to give data. I can ask them to wait. Okay. Should be monitored rarely and minimum effort should be spent in terms of time on them. Right? Alright. I want all of you to, this can be an exam question. What are the 4 groups in Mendelow's matrix and where do they fall? It is just about figuring out and getting the right thing. Did everybody understand? We'll go with our order only. There is no necessity that you have to always follow the order. So you start with what is the first box that we go with? Low to low. Low to low, what we do with them? Low priority stakeholders. These people are having high power or low power? Are they having high interest or low interest? Both are low. Guys, we'll go in the order that we figured out best. Okay. Read. Organization should underline only monitor them. Organization should do what? Only monitor. Don't take tension. Don't put so much of time. Organization. Like you saw, no? Low priority. As I just told you. Forbes is behind you. Sir, we want to write a column on it. Right? Tomorrow. Sir, we want to write something. Give us data. I'll give tomorrow. Because they are not of my high priority. Business magazine, media house. They are classic examples of low priority people. Okay. Strategically, minimal effort should be spent on this group of stakeholders. Of course, like I said, can they turn out to be somebody interesting and serious also? So what should you do? Keep an eye if their levels of interest and power change. I'm launching, let's say you are an automobile company, right? You are launching a car in next 3 months. Only you know that. No, you want the whole world to know that. How will you make the whole world know about it? Forget about the pretext that I told you. Normally I am asking. Marketing. Should we spend on advertising or not? How much? Huge. You have to spend a bomb on advertising. Why? Because you are launching a new vehicle. And it has to be mass marketing. Yes or no? But at the same time, somebody like Forbes or somebody who is in the business of writing magazine on car. There's a magazine called Cars. Right? It's not very generally available for circulation. It's a magazine of specific interest, no only people. And now, tell me something. They are behind you. Sir, give one interview. They're asking the CEO, give one interview. Or, we want to publish something about your company. From last 6 months, I'm telling, don't come. If I see you here in and around, I'll throw you out. Like that, we are threatening them. Because I'm on a big headache. I'm launching a new car in 3 months. I should focus on that, or I'll keep giving interviews to you. And if any statement I make, if it goes against, my car launch will be affected. So I'm also worried sometimes. Don't come near me. But tell me something. Now when you saw that these guys are behind you, tell me, can you utilize that as a platform to silently put a word to the whole market that you are launching a car? Because definitely when they are conducting an interview, they'll ask you one question. What are your upcoming plans? I will tell. I won't make a formal announcement. I'll make a casual statement. And people are intelligent enough to know these words on how to put them up. So when the interviewer is asking, what are your future plans? We have something in store in the next 3 months. That's all. People will be waiting. What is it? You've conveyed your message. Now tell me, do these people have high amount of influence? Suddenly they got high power. Why? Because one statement that goes out from them, everybody in the market is talking. Arey, that XYZ company in their Forbes interview, they told about this. That creates a buzz. You didn't do anything. Rather than spending huge money, something came for free. So now tell me, you will keep them in low priority or suddenly shift them? Shift them where? They have low interest only. They will move to? Tell me, from low priority, if you go one step up, who are they? Now you satisfy that guy. What that interview that didn't give last 6 months. Satisfy them by giving them that interview now. It is beneficial for you also. Guys, are you following what we are doing? Moving in time. Check that out. So from low priority, if you go one step up, where are you going? Keep satisfied. Come to that box. Guys, there are 2 ways to read this matrix. By heart. This is what Mendelov told. 4 boxes are there. By heart. Or follow the logic that I am explaining. Simple. Start with the origin. In origin, what is there? Low and low. So sir, low priority is not a great place to start. But like I said, you will never forget once you learn it like that. Already I guess everybody knows what those 4 are. Chalo, let's shift from low priority 1 box up. How much is the interest? What is the power? Hello? Come on, what is that you're talking about? These are people with power shifted, upside. Power shifted upside. So high power. The people of low interest. So tell me now, should we make interview? Keep remember, see these examples are very simple. Who was your low priority till all this time now? Just slightly elevate them to keep satisfied. Do something. Organization should put enough work in these people. Right? Your bankers, government, customers, all these people, they are falling in the keep satisfied category. Because if you stop satisfying them and disappoint them, like when I said, as long as you don't disappoint, you won't see the effect. Don't pay tax 1 month. Next month you will get notice. Right? Skip 2 EMIs. Next month you will get 1. 3rd month if you are skipping EMI, that's all gone. Then you will be put in the list of defaulters. Then notices will come. Public announcements will happen. Everything will go haywire. Guys, are you following what you're talking about? Keep satisfied. What is the first point? Low to low. Low power. Low power, low interest. Low priority. From low power, something move to high power. Keep them satisfied. Now, let's come to one slog jump like this. So we are going in this low, this, and then coming this, and then we are completing it. So we went from here, low priority. Okay. So how do we do this? Is by going by two slots. We understand how it's created. We went by low and low. What was it? Keep the priority also low. But what are we writing here? That is very important. Right? The vertical axis talks about and horizontal axis talks about. Yes, remember that. Because no matter where you write what, you should be able to get the boxes right. Now tell me, the priority is low. So when from low the power shifts to high, what are we doing? We are keeping them satisfied. We don't want to do anything, but we don't want to disturb them also. Right? So the idea of moving, guys, there is no movement pattern. Please understand. For our classroom understanding and for you to remember in the long term, I am using that. So we move from here to here. Now tell me, let's go on this direction where already the power is high. Let's talk about those highly interested people in business. Is it a key box or not? What are we calling them as? Let's call them as key players. Now, come back and read what key players are talking about. Key players, high power, high interested. The organization's aim should be underlined to fully engage this group. Do you guys study in Companies Act, ordinary resolution? So are we asking shareholders to vote? What is resolution? Are we asking them to vote or not? Why are you asking to vote? They are already appointing you as management, no? So take your call and do whatever you want. No sir, this is important. We might want their consent. So once in a while, should we call for an AGM, EGM? Okay, law says you have to do something that we will do anyways. But other than that, ordinary resolution, special resolution, why is it required? Because we are telling shareholders, hello, you people are only important, this is your company only, so raise hands accordingly. Is it a message that we are telling them that they are important or not? Ma, when we are doing something, who appointed management? Shareholders only. But then again, why are you asking their consent? One shareholder is standing up, Arey, I appointed you, already you take, why are you asking me? Arey, no sir, this is very important. Please understand. So is it important? Why are we taking special resolutions? Sometimes ordinary resolution is enough. 51 over. You understand the difference between ordinary and special? No, why special? Sometimes. Because it's more important. In what cases we take special resolution? Anyway, that is a different topic for you to discuss. I am telling you, when ordinary resolution itself is enough, why again another word, special resolution? First of all, I am asking a question, why the hell there is a resolution? You already appointed me, no? Why did you appoint me? Because you can't manage your business, you appointed me. Let me care. Then again, you are coming and telling me, no, for this I need your resolution. Because it is important. Not that a CEO is not capable of taking the decision. He also want to involve the shareholders. That's what fully engage means. You fully engage the group. Who are those? Shareholders, CEO, board of directors. Keep them informed with all the information on a very regular basis. These are the guys who are influencing the business on a daily basis. Right? But now what is happening is, when you go this way, someday, high interest groups having low power, what are they called as? Don't forget to tell them what you are doing with their money. Keep informed. Just keep them informed so that they won't ask you. It will be bad if they ask you what you are doing. If I only tell of this is what I am doing, they will not have any scope to ask you. Keep them informed. They are also not expecting anything. Because they are of high interest people. They are not high power people. So they won't influence you. But it is also your responsibility. For example, our employees, our vendors, our suppliers, legal experts. They are there. Our employees, they don't have, it is not like something that they can kill us. But tell me, if they put up strikes, lockouts, as I was just mentioning, is it all reputational damage for us for some time? Why do you want to go down that line? You have a problem with your supplier. Supplier like, get lost, I won't supply. You can also tell, get lost, I'll take another supplier. So it is not like your supplier will influence you, or he has a power to control. But remember, we studied Michael Porter's theory already. If suppliers are few in number, just imagine if they form a cartel and the cartel's boss is telling low priority, low power. Wait, I will show you. They can do that. Again, it's circumstantial. Are you understanding? Because they formed a cartel, they are getting this power. What if that cartel was not there? If cartel is not there, you will tell that supplier, I will bring another. Simple. If customers are doing nonsense, what is that? What is your problem? Why are you expecting so much? We can't deliver. Get lost. Customer like, think again. No, I already thought. You get lost. You are not my customer anymore. I'll find another customer. Whatever I just told now, can we do it easily? Just like that? Every business, can they do it easily? It's not possible. No? So sometimes shut your mouth and listen to your customer. Customer will tell. Sometimes customer will scold. Right? You listen. Simple. Sir, maximum what they'll do? They'll not buy. That's all. Beyond that, they don't have power. But who are you doing everything for? I'm taking, let's say, entertainment business. All these movie directors, production, who are they producing movies for? For them only, to make money. But is it important to convince the fans? But they will only watch 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. They are the ones who are going to repeatedly pay. Tell me, guys. You understood the category that I'm talking about? They don't have high power. Fans, they don't make movie. They are important. You have to keep them happy. That's all. You understood the meaning now? What are you supposed to do? Keep them informed. Movie is coming. Then they will also come to the movie. You make a movie that satisfies them. They'll give 3 times, 4 times, 5 times they'll watch. They'll give you those collections that you didn't think of. They don't have an ability to destroy you. But at the same time, they are the most important people. If everybody in the organization says, okay, thank you, I am not an employee. See, now so many people resigned from Twitter. Did it collapse? No. Likewise, every company, it will be like that. Some people are like, if I am not there, company is not there. That fellow is an idiot. Okay. No matter who you are. Very rarely so something like that happens, that when one fellow or two resign the company will come to a shutdown level. So you have to be somebody like Steve Jobs for that. Right? He did that and showed, no? Right? Apple in I don't know if you guys know that story or not. Okay. Apple in a series of things, what happened was they threw out Steve Jobs. Do you know that? I'll keep that story for some other day. But it's a very interesting thing. In 10 years time, Steve Jobs created another company which Apple had no option other than to buy that. Because Apple was not anymore Apple then. So he had a company by them next. They had bought that bought him back on board. That is the new Apple that you are seeing today, whatever is. So, that is one of the classic examples to say that if you are talented enough or if you are creative enough to do something, nothing can stop. It's a classic example. 10 years later in the story, same. The very same set of people who threw you out they had to come back. Because it is your company. End of the day, nobody knows how to run it. Then imagine what Steve Jobs would have said that day. Very good. All of you came back. No, because that time when he was not of high power, they threw him out. Because he is a visionary. He knows somebody thinking in creative terms. They don't bother about all this paperwork. They're little loose about all those things. So they got them signed and they said, you are not part of Apple anymore. He's like, what? Come back once again. What are you telling? No, you are not part of, like that. Every company did. Microsoft threw some people like that. Facebook threw some people like that. Who were all initially part of that. But in the later exercises, they were not even there as part of the company. This is their surprise. People are thinking, alright, this is my company only. From when? From when what? Whenever this company was created. Then they are showing a paper and saying not anymore. Now imagine how it will be for them. Because these are guys who are important, but they don't have the power. So that is why just keep them informed. What are those people called as? Low power, highly interested people. Organization should adequately, underline, inform this group and communicate with them to ensure, what ma? Communicate with them to ensure that no major issues arise. This audiences can also help with real-time feedback, areas of improvement for the organization. Right? For the final conclusion, an important thing that strategists should be aware of is the importance to remember that environment is highly dynamic. So don't permanently attribute anybody to any box. Hello? Is that what I've been shouting in the last half an hour ever since we started this? Don't attribute somebody permanently to one box. This fellow for rest of his life is low priority. Today, low priority. Can they suddenly go to keep informed? In the long run, can they become key players also? We don't know. That's why don't attribute anybody. See there. Certain things might cause, or that might cause stakeholders to move between these four quadrants. Put a star to that paragraph, because you have to remember that nobody will fix permanently in one box. Hey, whatever I've been shouting only is put up as a sentence there. To close out the story, for example, an organization might inadvertently contravene a regulation. Same example that I told you. I told you, some time back. If you want to suddenly remind government that you exist, don't pay tax. They will only come. Hi, hello, how are you? What is happening to you? Because you're not paying, no? They'll suddenly come and knock your door. There is a last month tax. I won't pay. Why? I don't like you. We also don't like you. But that is norm. Compliance. Read there. Say for example, fail to comply GST, which would cause the regulatory body, that is the indirect tax department, what happened? To move from high power low interest to high power high interest. Yes or no? Tell me guys, they as a government body, do they have high power? Hello? They as a government body, do they have high power? So you are not giving them power. They already have high power. They were not interested in you. Why? Because I was minding my own business and doing everything on time. Correct or not? Why will they show interest on you? Why will any government department show interest on you? When you do non-compliance, if you are complying everything, somebody is stopping their vehicle properly before the stop line, in traffic police will come to them and disturb them. You go ahead, you do something, you cut others and go, you take 4 people on your vehicle and go. That's when it captures attention. He has a power. He won't exert that power on you unless they have interest. Who is bringing this interest? We only. How did we attract department's interest? By not paying. They pulled out a list of defaulters. Your name was there in that. That's why they came to you. Shut your mouth and do complain. They won't ever come to you. Guys, are you following or not? You are suddenly, like I said, don't disappoint your employees. They'll remain here only. Keep them informed. Keep them happy. No sir, we'll disappoint them. Then they'll go up. And they say, come on, let's form a team now. So from that low power group, employees suddenly will emerge as high power group. Because they're sitting outside the organization gate now. Nahi chalega, like that they're shouting. Organization is asking, kya nahi chalega? Organization only. Anything, whatever. They formed a union. As long as they were individuals, they were called employees. No power. Because you didn't behave with them properly, what they did? They formed a union. Now only I told you supplier example. As long as that supplier was individual, you told him, you get lost, I will go elsewhere. What if they were cartel? Don't provoke. It's a very good matrix. It's a very interesting theory that was developed, but then nothing permanent in that story. Because when they developed, that's why they developed 4 boxes. Anybody can move anywhere in the 4 quadrants. Guys, today's whole topic on the internal environment, on key stakeholders, are we clear about all of that? Very important point. To start with our discussion, in the 3rd chapter, we picked up a topic which is called as internal environment, of which what is the first topic? Understanding our stakeholders. Who are stakeholders? What are key stakeholders in the organization? Mendelow's matrix to understand the 4 categorizations of key stakeholders. So remember, to conclude, like for example, one more, equally Forbes, media house or some news channel will move from low power low interest to low power high interest suddenly. Because you had a car launch. You remember my example? They became high interest of you suddenly because you had a problem with them. They don't have, they are already from 6 months begging for an interview. You didn't give because you had more power than them. But now suddenly it looks like they are of high interest to you. Why? Because you want personal interest is there. Personal or organizational interest is there. So it is worth reanalyzing. You can't draw this matrix once for all for a company and say for next 25 years this is Mendelow's matrix for this company, take it. No. For 25 months also it can't be same. So should we revisit this once in every 6 months? I'd suggest if you draw it once in every quarter also certain things can change. But we do have other better things to do in life rather than keeping and drawing this matrix. If you have a strategic analysis team which is always working on it, they'll do, they will do it on month basis also. It is up to them. But I suggest at least semi-annually or annually, at least once, it's good to revisit, because your environment is relatively static only to that extent. Semi-annually or annually, that is a, I mean, again, they didn't tell that. They said in the event of change. Okay. Then next question you will ask me, sir, when will it change? No, if I know when will it change, if I can predict future like that, why will I take early morning classes for you? I will change the world. No, I will go to Mars. What nonsense. Anyways, come on. So it's very simple. So you don't know what exactly that term is. That's what I'm saying. Relatively static means what, sir? 6 months, 1 year, depending on it. If you have a team who you are paying all this for, get it done once in every quarter. No, sir, we don't have a team. We have to hire outside experts. So get it done once in 6 months or 1 year, as much as your budget permits. Is everybody clear on this? The first and very important topic. Okay. Now, in the previous chapter, we spoke about competitors. And there, when we were discussing about competition, I told you about one word called key drivers of change. Simple. There's no, complication. Small, simple, but very important topic. As the heading goes by, drivers. I would like all of you to know what that is, so that when we, sit on it, we have to have a, a full-length discussion on what it is. I've already discussed with you 2 terms, which is why I'm just interested in doing that alone now. Remember what is industry? Hello? Group of firms? Very good. Group of firms selling same or similar products, but what is more important, the definition? They're competing for the same set of. Do you already know the word market? Market is larger than customers or not? Simple points. Let's see. What will push you to change a strategy? There are so many things that can push us to change a strategy. Each such thing which will push you to change a strategy is titled as a strategic driver. Please read the definition of what strategic drivers are. How these drivers can influence, we will see. An important aspect of internal analysis. This is concept number 2. Guys, what is the first aspect of internal analysis? Stakeholder story. Is everybody clear on the stakeholder story? Very simple. Who are stakeholders? What do they do? What is Mendelow's matrix to analyze? Where to throw each stakeholder into? That's all. That's what's part 1. Now move on. Strategic drivers. Another important aspect of internal analysis is assessing, underline, current performance. Again, the word strategic drivers. Guys, tell me, is it a static word or which will really change? Of course, it is supposed to be changed. If for many years you are being driven by the same strategic driver, that means you are not being driven properly. Guys, are you following what we are talking about? You have to be driven by what? You can be driven by choice. Remember, choice is such a choice is a good thing or bad thing? Come on, I told you this. Choice is a good thing or bad thing? Tell both, no? I will be happy. Or tell depends. I told you, no. If you want to disrespect me directly, depends is the best answer, guys. I am only giving you tips. Because when you say depends, it's like you only choose whatever you want. Now on a very serious note. Okay, all of you felt happy? I insulted myself. I will do that. No problem. Because rest of the day also I have to face that only. Anyways, now, right, I'm a married individual. It happens on a regular basis. It's cool. Come on, go ahead. No problem with that. Self-realization. Anyway. Now come on, quick. I asked a simple, we'll go, it depends. Good. Don't tell to satisfy yourself and me. We both know that it is not going to be the same answer all the time. What is the question? Do you remember that question or you only remember that Choice is a good thing or bad thing? Choice is a good thing when you know how to use it. I know all the questions in the question paper. Assumption. Okay. Let's say or assume that you know all questions in the question paper. But you have to write 5 only out of 6. Do you have better ability to make choice? Of those 6, I know all 6. I will write. Now, you know only 5. and you have to write only 5, which is also a fair assumption. Now you don't know the 6th one. Is choice good for you or bad for you? Very good for you. Why? Because you have no choice. Where is the choice? Which one are you going to write? My question paper is telling you can leave one in choice, but by default you are leaving one in choice. Are you understanding what is going on there? You know only 4. Now the problem is, it is not choice, it is compulsion. Only you are feeling that you are given a choice. When you know 6 out of 6, that is when choice existed in the first place. Guys, are you understanding? So the reason why I am telling you this is because the same thing happens with resources. When you don't have resources, there is no question of choice. Are you understanding? You have resources, then you have a choice on where to deploy. I have been repeatedly shouting this word, opportunity, opportunity. When will you have opportunity? When there is a next best alternative for you. If you don't know to exercise that next best alternative, there is no opportunity. Which is why many people are stuck in the jobs that they don't like. Sir, I don't like this job. Leave and go. No, I can't. Why? Because I don't know anything else. And there is no somebody else who can give me a better job. So shut your mouth and do it then. Yes sir, sometimes let me cry. Okay, cry. So these are those people who cry from Monday to Friday. Friday afternoon they will be extremely happy. Saturday they will be in a different world. Sunday afternoon they will be back to crying mode. Monday morning they will have a face that is worthy of seeing, like how many of you are, right, on Monday mornings. Right? We know that again life started and happens with everybody. Why? Because that is a part of the story. If you had a choice, you don't have a choice, no? Now, whether we have a choice or not, alright guys, listen carefully, let's sum this up. Whether you have a choice or not is totally up to you. Because like I said, if you studied and went, you would know all 6 questions, then you can make better utilization of choice. Array, no sir, I studied well, but I know 5. I have to write 5. Then actually you can't consider yourself to be exercising choice. That 6th question that you don't know, you will leave it in choice by default. Not because ICAI gave you choice, because you don't have one. Guys, are you understanding? So this is a very important discussion, which is obviously the theme of the balance part of the topic. So I want all of you to understand assessing current performance, strategic drivers. Consider what differentiates you from your competitors. It is going to be a very interesting discussion, just like how we thought about stakeholders. It involves analysis of key markets from your street to international. This topic applies everywhere. Please understand. When we talk key markets means which one? Global market for oil or local market for your product? Everything. Market is market. We are not, hey, remember the other day in your book only they gave market can be global market for oil, or it can be market for a product in your street. Market is market wherever you are. That's what makes this topic interesting also. Sometimes you know what strategy you apply in your street. If you apply the same strategy at global level, it will be a blockbuster. But people don't try that. They'll think, hey, street strategy, sir, why will it work? Who told you it will not work? That's the problem. You sometimes see, small movies make huge amount of money. Because content is good, people are watching it, job done, over. That is what a movie is meant for, no? Hey, no sir, only 100 crores if we spend on making a movie, we can make 500 crores. Nobody told that. It is your imagination, your logic. Okay? So that, likewise, that is what I am telling. The upcoming topics are even more interesting. These are such broad words. What we are doing is hardly about 30-32 sessions on a topic with 50 marks. People are doing 2-year MBAs on only these topics. Then they are doing a post-qualification specialization in an area. So just imagine how much should be there in each topic. And then not only reading, they are effectively using these topics in running an entity. Global markets operate on all these logics. So I want all of you to understand. It involves, which involves this entire analysis, the strategic drivers. It involves analysis of key markets in which the organization operates, as well as its key customers, products and services it provides, channels. What channels are we talking about here? Please, don't think of news channels and TV channels. Whenever they are using the word channels in this book, it refers to only and only distribution channels. The channels in which products or services are delivered. Write down there in bracket if you don't know distribution. We don't do that from next time, but for once I'm writing it. Because till now, wherever we saw, they've used the word distribution channel. Whether do it exclusively or not, the word channel remains what? Distribution channel. And the organization's competitive advantage. Some of these components are interlinked, like markets and products and services and channels, and the key customers in each channel. We'll see that. 4 topics are coming out of this discussion, which we are going to obviously have in the next class. Very important ones. There can be varied ways to assess current performance of a business, and it's highly subjective based on management's metrics of doing business. Guys, tell me, every management, do they do business only to make profits? Hello? Is profit the only objective in business? Can there be other objectives also? We'll leave what it is for today. We'll discuss. That is what the next class is meant for. Hello, please don't be under the wrong impression. Again, some of them were saying yes with a doubtful voice. I'm telling you that profit, no matter how important it is, but profit is not the only objective. Don't take me back to class 1 here. Do you remember that point or not? It can be profit driven, purpose driven, or 100 other metrics are there. Volume driven. My product only should be sold in the market. I don't care whether I make profit or not. Everybody should buy my product. That could be somebody's intention. So like that, profit driven, purpose driven, any other metric, what management feels fit. Whatever you talk, it will finally fit into these 4 words. First of those, I think all of you know all the words there, except for channels we didn't discuss in detail, but I hope everybody knows their distribution channels. So the next class we will be discussing what? What are industry and markets? You know industry, you know market already. We already compared market and customers in the previous. Hello? Products or services? Products. Product is good or service? That's why we are talking about that. And how to ultimately take this to the hands of your customer. We'll talk about all these 4 words. If you understand these 4 clearly, not as subject topics, as a businessman, if you understand all these 4 clearly, you will know where you are, what you are doing, and how you can strategically drive your product to the right person in the right time. Alright? Chalo, I'll see you in the next class. We will come back and discuss all these 4 words in full detail.